So a wellness coach is someone who has taken a training and has become certified by whichever school of choice that they resonated with. I personally chose the International Association of Wellness Professionals. I chose them because they were not just strictly focused on diet and exercise, because although those are two very important pieces of your total wellness puzzle, they are not the only things to consider. And in fact, as I've gone through my own journey, I have realized that those two pieces are equally as important as some of the other ones, including spirituality, including your purpose, including your career, your relationships. There's so many elements to what true holistic health looks like that the IAWP doesn't just focus on one or two of them. In fact, they use a symbol of the wheel, the wellness wheel, and they look at all 12 elements of health. But actually, within each of those elements, there's 3 layers to each of them. So that means that they are actually looking at 36 elements that contribute to your complete body, mind, spiritual, and emotional health and wellness. And so this really resonated with me because I just had personally gone through a journey that way, that it wasn't just looking at the amount of exercise I did or the kind of food that I was eating. Although those are very important, they weren't the only thing. And so I chose that school of training. And what also I learned within that training is a more in-depth way of coaching. So as a nurse, I have worked in chronic disease for about 5 years. That's totally just a guess off the top of my head, but it's about 5 years. And I've learned all sorts of little trainings as far as helping people make lifestyle changes. And although a lot of them had some really good pieces to them, they were not nearly as in depth as this training that I've taken with the IAWP. And so it really looks at working with people to help them come up with their own solutions. Because if there's one thing that I understand and I've come to believe and trust, is that all of our answers already live inside of us. We already know everything that we need to know, and everything that we desire and dream and need to do to get to that place. We already have all of that inside. But unfortunately, a lot of that's been buried and covered with different fears and doubts. And so knowing that piece about us having our truth within us, the coaching method really helps us to uncover what's been buried. And I absolutely love that part of it because it's been so pivotal to me that I really truly enjoy going through the process with people and just watching the light bulbs and the different things that come up and the solutions that they uncover, that they've been there the whole time, but they just, sometimes people need a little extra guidance to help you find them. And that's really what a wellness coach is all about. So I take my training as a nurse, and I take my training as a wellness coach, and I take my training also in the aroma freedom technique, which I've spoken a little bit about before, but it's my technique of choice for helping myself and others to move through any kind of fears and doubts that are blocking their way from achieving their goals. This is all that negative chatter that goes on in our minds that tells us why we're not good enough and why we will never succeed. And so using this technique, we help to break through those blocks so that people can have lasting success with the goals that they want for their life. The program that I've been talking about on here, that I have only 2 spots left for, which is really exciting, is called Full to Fulfilled. And so I would invite you to have a listen to that audio that I posted, the YouTube link, that walks you through the visualization that I use in my workshops, but it helps people to kind of get a sense of what it's like to go on a self-discovery journey, what it's like to start looking inside and finding the different pieces of yourself that have been hidden for so long. And so I use the analogy of like scaling a canyon. So it's, like you're this big, wide, vast completely daunting canyon, which represents the change that we're looking for in our life, even though we don't even always know what it is we're looking for, but we just know something desperately needs to change. So I would invite you to listen to that, because I think it'll help you understand a little bit more about what the journey is like when you work through the program. As well, you can feel free to read through the description on my website that talks about the 5 phases of the Full to Fulfilled program. And this really, it reflects the analogy of going through the canyon. So all of those things will really help you understand. And if you still have questions, but you're interested, you're thinking that this might be something that you'd like to do, please don't hesitate. You can set up a free call with me, and we can go deeper into what's happening for you, and what the challenges are that you're facing. And then you can hear more in depth about the program. And ultimately, it's an opportunity for the two of us to meet, get to know each other, and see if this is a good fit. Because it's not going to work for everybody. It's not going to be ideal for everyone, but the ideal person will be discovered when we have that conversation, and we'll know if it's a good fit or not. And there's no harm if it isn't. It's an opportunity for us to discover if this is the answer that you've been looking for. Sometimes all we need is just one slight degree turn in our life to take us on a whole new path that just completely changes the trajectory.